It is Saturday, the 5th of October, 2019. It's moon observation night, apparently. And we're looking at the moon. And we're also looking at Saturn, which is comparatively close to the moon. It's about within 1.5 degrees of the moon, I would say. Certainly within 2 degrees of the moon. The diameter of the moon is about 0.5 degree. And so I see like Saturn being within 1.5 moon diameters of the moon. So it's not an occultation or anything like that. I think Saturn has actually been closer to the moon a month or two ago, and I missed it for whatever reason. Could have been the weather, it might have been just too cloudy, but I might have just simply been oblivious. It does happen, unfortunately. I think I actually did miss a very close conjunction of Saturn and the moon a month or two ago, just because I wasn't aware it was happening. Anyhow, that's it. Moon observation night. We're looking at the moon and Saturn with a no-flexar, or I should say a Novoflex no-flexar 600mm f8 lens. I think stopped down to f11 now. 60th of a second at 1600 ISO. And the sky looks quite dark in the video, but in real life, in terms of what I see with the eye, it's actually still blue. It's darkish blue because it's dusk, but it's actually quite blue. In fact, I think what I'll do is I'll just adjust the ISO to give you an idea of where we're at in terms of what the eye sees. That'll wash out the moon. I'm not sure quite what will happen with Saturn. It might get lost in the blue. Let's find out. So I just boosted the ISO up to 400. So 4,000. So as we can see, the moon is bleached out. We can still see Saturn. Just going to adjust the camera a little bit so that. Okay, there we go. So now we got the moon a bit over on the left. Saturn just right of center. That should move up through the frame. But as you can see, the moon is pretty washed out. And we're still, by the way, not where the sky is. What we're looking at there, we have a nice deep blue sky, but it's darker than what I'm seeing with the human eye. So let's just boost it up a bit again. Okay, so yeah, we're at 6400 ISO, which is as high as this camera will go. So now it's a question of adjusting the shutter speed downwards, which I'm reticent to do because it's a 60th of a second, so it's a little iffy already at the 60th of a second. Pretty low shutter speed for a powerful telephoto lens, even on a tripod. So what do we do here? I think for now we just leave things as is. I was kind of hoping that we might even get some earth shine on the other side of the moon, but no luck. Let's see, what can I do? I can boost the ISO. Let's see what happens when I boost it up. Okay, so I just boosted the ISO to high 0.7. I'm getting a very grainy image on the screen, so I presume we're getting a grainy video image. The sky color shade is close to what I'm seeing with the human eye, but darker and more blue, shall we say. Like what I'm looking at is a pale blue sky. It's not quite as royal blue, shall we say, is what I'm seeing here. And we see Saturn there, and we see the moon pretty washed out. I think I'm actually seeing a bit of earthshine there. So that's kind of interesting. I think I'll just boost the ISO a little bit more. I think that's, yeah. Oh, look at that. Whoops. So that's way too high. That's high 2. That's high 1. High 1, I believe, is 6400 ISO doubled. So 12,800 ISO. 60th of a second. And it's, in terms of the color of the sky, getting or at least the exposure, not the color so much as the exposure. It's pretty close to what I'm seeing. A little darker perhaps, but I'm seeing a different shade of blue. It's more of a neutral pale blue, whereas we're seeing a kind of a royal blue here. I suppose if I change the color settings on the camera from standard to neutral, I might get something closer to what I'm seeing with the eye. So I'm just going to adjust the video a little bit. And I think we're going to take some still photos. But yeah, in the video, on the screen, I'm actually seeing all of the moon pretty well. I'm seeing Earthshine on the left, and I'm seeing the circular outline of the dark side of the moon, although the bright side is totally washed out. And of course I'm seeing Saturn there up in the right. So again, we're at a 60th of a second. I believe we're at f11, because I think I stopped down a stop. And we're at 12,800 ISO on a Nikon D800 full frame DSLR. And yes, it is moon observation night, if I didn't mention that. I see an aircraft coming. Let's see if we can swing the camera down a bit and see what we can catch here. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay, so we got the aircraft. Whoops, we had it. Come on. There we go. So that's an aircraft coming our way. You can see landing lights, I believe. And, it's going pretty quick, too. Let's see if I can track it. So, yeah, this was not planned or expected, but I'm actually seeing an aircraft. You can see the shape of an aircraft. I can see a tail. I can see wing lights. I can see landing lights. I'm sure the... oh, it just went by a... That was probably... No, it's probably a star that went by, but I don't know which one. Whoops, a daisy. So it's going at a good clip there. We're actually panning, and it's still... But we're at a pretty slow shutter speed, so... Anyway, we're going to lose it soon. But, you know, just for the heck of it, it really moves when I don't pan. And the shutter speed's not going to be stopping it. There he goes. Whoops, that's the end. Oh, we'll come back, see if we can find the moon. It gets up there. Oh, there we go. We found it. That was pretty efficient. We managed to find the moon again pretty quickly. Come on. A little too high. We're just pissing around, as you can tell. Nothing too professional about what we're doing here. But we're just basically having a bit of urban astrophotography fun. I'm on my back porch. And I'm 3 stories up. You can probably hear the radio going in the background. So yeah, the moon's a bit on the low side, but it will rise upwards. I should actually check the horizon. I might be tilted a little too much. Not crazy, but anyhow, getting back to what I see in terms of the rear screen, I actually can see the full outline of the moon. So I see a bit of Earthshine, just the slightest difference between the sky and the dark side of the moon. And we see Saturn. We see the moon slowly rising up. Again, the shutter speed is a 60th of a second, quite slow for a high power telephoto lens. And the ISO is quite high, 12,800 equivalent ISO. I can actually go to high 2. There's no incremental values between high 1 and high 2, but that would be double 12,800, so you do the math, 25,600, would that be right? Okay, let's see here. It's just a tad. Okay, so I'm not too happy there with how low close to the bottom of the frame the moon is, but I know that if I try to adjust things better, it's going to jump all over the place. So I think I'll leave as is. I think I'll switch to still photos, try and get some stills.